So Portuguese is pretty similar to Spanish. It's like a nasalized Spanish. Spanish speakers speak a lot, right in front of their mouth. Portuguese speakers speak a lot through their nose. São Paulo, it's got a lot of those sounds. But in general, I found it pretty easy to learn. I mean, I studied a little bit of Spanish in high school, but not enough to actually know anything. But Portuguese came pretty easily. It takes some people longer, it takes some people shorter, but if you just study, you'll pick it up pretty fast. In terms of grammar, the Portuguese they teach you in the MTC is very correct, it's very proper. The Portuguese you speak in São Paulo is not. So you'll learn one thing in the MTC, and then you'll see how people have changed it when you get into São Paulo. It's not too bad. It's not like they change conjugations that much, but there are little things that you'll have to pick up on. There's a lot of slang in São Paulo, so it's very hard to understand some people because they just speak in complete slang. They'll call you mano, brother, and you're like, I don't even know what that means. And most of them are just sort of constructs from English that they've pulled over. In general, if you just ask someone, they'll tell you what something means. It's not a bad thing or anything, so there's a lot of opportunity to learn. You can just say, what does this mean, or how do you use this, or could you explain, why you use this? And people will tell you pretty well. Some of the Brazilians also speak incorrectly, which makes it a little harder. And so they'll use conjugations wrong. They'll sort of use words incorrectly, or they'll change them incorrectly. And so when you come from the MTC, you're expecting everything to follow the same pattern. You're expecting everything to fit into the rules that you learned. And you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to understand that these people are speaking Portuguese, they're just speaking it incorrectly, but that's how they know it. That's their Portuguese. It's Brazilian Portuguese. So other than that, it's pretty simple. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem for any missionary going there. Ask questions and try and use Portuguese as much as possible. I mean, I know it's kind of cheesy classic answer, but actively try and learn. Listen to what people are saying. It's very easy in that first transfer or so to just tune out what people are saying, because you don't understand, you can't speak it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if you really try and listen, and you try and hear what words they're using, and if you can remember them or write them down, then later you can turn to your companion or to someone else who lives in the same house and say, hey, I heard this earlier, what in the world were they saying? Or if you can just leave a lesson and tell your companion, I didn't even understand them, they'll probably tell you that they had some sort of accent. Accents are really strange in Portuguese. So like the word door in the Northeast, it's like porta. If you go to São Paulo, it's porta. If you go to Rio, it's porta. There's just such a smattering of accents that it's kind of hard to hear. It's kind of hard to hear the same word from a different accent. But once you get a handle on Portuguese, like the actual, the language itself, then you'll be able to get a handle on accents pretty easily. And you'll have a lot of Brazilian companions, so you'll have a lot of experience with how some people speak versus how other people speak.